And that was the time when I asked myself the question, what's next? I wanted to explore more from the world, but also from the career side of things.
Now being married, is it different? Has something changed? Because as she pointed out, she's always been in long distance with him. For a woman in India and for a girl in India, I feel our families in India are and our society is such that first of all, they don't allow girls to go alone, and
Yes.
if at all they do so then there are so many restrictions, so many other things that parents are also concerned. But you must have faced and come across a lot of struggles as well, living there alone. And even though you've been there for 6 weeks, but being there for 6 weeks versus living there, working there, and managing everything on your own, adapting to different culture, different weathers, and especially, that homesick feeling.
At school, I was so shy of people thinking about my opinion, judging me.
Oh.
And I was so shy that I distracted myself in art. I distracted myself in being a sports captain. And after my last year at school, came to an end, I realized what a big mistake I made in my life.
Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast. And I have a very special guest with me today. You can say she's my cousin sister, and she's been like that. She's been very caring and possessive about me. So, no more further introduction about her. I would want her to take over. And yes, Akriti Srivastav, everybody.
Hi everyone. Hi Surbhi. Thank you
Hi.
for having me on the podcast. And for all the listeners of the podcast, I would like to introduce myself, talk about my journey so far today. And I'm from Delhi. I'm born and raised in Delhi. I'm a true Delhiite. And right now, I am pursuing a career in sustainability transformation. And in my heart, I believe in five things.
Okay.
One is courage, one is communication, third one is creativity, as you might be knowing, Surbhi.
Definitely. Tolerance and creativity go hand in hand.
Exactly. Fourth one is competitiveness, and the last one is care. And I think for intro, it's totally fine to say that I have these five core values and I believe in them.
Perfectly fine, but I been in your place, I would want to switch those core values for you, and I would want care to be at number one, because I find her very, very caring. And even from afar, so right now we've started from Delhi. I know we are going to proceed further, but even from afar, wherever she is, she's very caring about people she loves. So yeah, but yeah, so I think with that, you got to know who Akriti is, but not yet. There's a lot coming up. So we'll start with knowing her a little better, because she moved to Germany, and as she said that she's from Delhi. So what happened? What changed for her, and how did this all happen? I would want her to shed some light on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, change never comes easy.
Never.
And the same thing happened to me. I was actually pursuing my master's in German literature from University of Delhi. And as some of the podcast listeners must be knowing, I'm a big fan of North Campus in Delhi University. And I was in my comfort zone. And luckily, I picked up a great job as a language counselor at one of the German institutes, Goethe Institutes. And that was the time when I asked myself the question, what's next? And this kind of was the trigger for me to think about the next steps in life, because I had a salary, I had done my masters, and I had great friends, and I wanted to explore more from the world, but also from the career side of things. So that's why I first thought about pursuing a study abroad. Yeah.
Okay, but as you said that you loved to be in your comfort zone, and Delhi University was a kind of place for you, as I also know that you loved hanging out there. So, was it ever in your mind that you'll someday go to foreign country, or probably Germany, if not Germany, some other place, that you would want to be there and pursue your career there? Or it was just that, as you mentioned, it was a spontaneous plan or trigger because you wanted to explore, or it was somewhere in that child Akriti that I want to go and I want to do something? So what kind of
Mhm.
because it's a big decision after all, and we feel that
Absolutely.
even especially I would say for a woman in India and for a girl in India, because back then I feel our families in India are and our society is such that uh, well, first of all, they don't allow girls to go alone, and if
Yes.
at all they do so, so then there are so many restrictions, so many other things that parents are also concerned.
Yes.
And knowing Akriti, she's not that kind of girl who doesn't care what her family thinks. She will care about everything and keeping everything
Mhm.
intact, and yet making such a big decision, I feel. So that is what I want to know from you. How was that feeling particularly?
Mhm. So I will be very candid here, not just to my cousin, but also to all the listeners. So I had the privilege of being exposed to going on school trips early on, and because I backed a few scholarships, even if they were for, let's say, 2 months of me working in Germany together with other students, I
Hmm.
already gathered the exposure to go to Germany very
Okay.
early in my life, in a 6 week exchange program as a
Oh,
school
nice.
student.
Nice.
Having said that, when I was 22, all of that did not really, motivate me enough to think from the very beginning, oh, yeah, I have to go to Germany. So I
Okay.
had been to Germany before, but
Right.
also heard from a lot of people in the family of stories of going abroad. But I do think there was an instinct in me which said, well, now you can command the German language. You've been to Germany, so why not take the challenge on for living and doing a job in Germany? That is something which I had not done.
Yeah.
Again, something unexplored, and that is what actually was the real reason behind me looking for a change of career. Yeah.
Absolutely. But you must have faced and come across a lot of struggles as well, living there alone. And even though you've been there for 6 weeks, but being there for 6 weeks versus living there,
Hmm.
working there, and managing everything on your own, adapting to different culture, different weathers, and especially that homesick feeling. And I feel particularly for people who are this emotional like her, because I think we'll bring her emotional aspect, but she is really, and that's what I'm saying from my personal experience. So I feel. For people like us, or like you in particular, if you're talking about you, people who are so emotionally attached to their family, their culture, their festivals, small nitty-gritties in life. So how were the struggles like? And if
Hmm.
anybody, if any of our viewer, and if any girl is dreaming of going alone and convincing their family at the same time, so
Hmm.
what should be like, what should they know from your own experience, that how were your struggles, so that they know the
Hmm.
reality, the practical aspect of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
So, to be honest, I think you already listed them pretty well. Number one is homesickness. That's the biggest challenge. Growing up in a joint family and having so many great cousins around, friends around. Homesickness is the first one. Cultural shocks and
shocks.
adaptability to new cultures, and also not just like bringing your own culture, but the readiness to accept the new culture. That was
Yeah,
another challenge.
yeah.
And so many. The weather really was the biggest challenge for me. It was very cold or very gray sometimes, so I did have my highs and lows
Yeah.
even when I was living my dream. And I would definitely say that's a part of the journey to all the young girls, boys, or whoever who is on this journey of working and moving abroad. There will be highs and lows, so there's a roller
Definitely.
coaster everywhere. But how really I let's talk about, let's say, homesickness. How I worked on it was by connecting with a few friends I knew
Okay.
from my previous trips. So it was easier for me to get into the culture. I was able to understand how people work here, what are the ethics of relationships.
Oh,
So having
nice.
friends was one of the best ways to get myself actually acclimatized quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also want to mention that if we are pursuing our studies, or let's say a job, or the idea of moving abroad, we must accept and understand that we need to give ourselves time and not be
Definitely.
harsh. And I did that as well. So maybe a tip for all our
So were
podcast
you
listeners.
were you for some time being harsh on yourself, and like what made you feel that way? Because that is what I want to know. I
Hmm.
want to know the feeling that how Akriti was feeling during that particular period when everything was gray, maybe, and you had your
Hmm.
lows. How did you jump back to that
Hmm.
moment, and what motivated you? What kept you going?
Yeah, so I can talk about a theory which I read in my MBA. It's called a change management theory. It
Okay.
is called the freeze and unfreezing,
Okay.
right? So when I came to Germany and I had all these challenges in my way, like the weather, the sun not setting until 10 p.m. in summer,
Yeah, right.
or me not having the capability to make a local phone call at home, always dependent on internet, or
That's a
not
struggle.
having enough capital, managing job and studies. So that was a freeze period where
Hmm.
I gave up and I was frustrated with the sometimes German trains were also late, and taking out my frustrations. So I was really frozen in those moments. And gradually, with the help of a few distractions, I would call these distractions like my office projects or my MBA topics or my new friends
Hmm.
and new experiences, I was able to slowly unfreeze and settle in. But
Okay.
the one mantra, so to say, if I were to share it with you, is always to do a journal. And I
Hmm.
started that very early on with my journey, basically. So, journaling about the struggles. So, I could not be stranger to my struggles, rather become friendly with them. That's how it supported
And you
me.
let it out. That's,
Yes,
I feel,
yes.
an outlet, a safe outlet.
Absolutely. I had
Oh.
to express, like, if my train was delayed, I was vocal about it to my parents that I'm frustrated right now. Or sometimes I was really missing the Indian food, for example. And I just purchased the nearest equivalent of that particular dish, red beans in a tin can, and make rajma rice. So,
Yeah.
easy kuch bhi nahi
कुछ भी नहीं है ना
hai.
आकृति. I want to pick up one point. Maybe we are digressing from our theme, but I would really want to know your perspective. You said you love to be vocal.
Yes.
So, would you like to share the importance of being vocal? Because these days, I feel people have this tendency, either they are too vocal without thinking, or
Mm-hmm.
caring about anybody else's emotion, or on the other side, I feel some of the people are suppressing their emotions and not being vocal about how they are actually feeling.
Yeah.
So, what is the importance of being vocal for you? And how do you feel it would help people to be vocal if
Hmm.
you actually are on that side of the
Yes.
uh, train? So how would you?
Actually, I can tell you a quick story, which I think you, as my cousin, might not even believe it. Very few people know that I was a very great student at school, never the achiever, but always a multitasker. Like, I was a sports captain, I was creative, good at studies, discipline, all praises by teachers. But there was one thing which neither my parents nor my teachers actually identified in me. I was so shy. I was so shy of people thinking about my opinion, judging me.
Oh.
And I was so shy that I distracted myself in art. I distracted myself in being a sports
Oh.
captain. And I found an escape in those things
Yeah.
because then I'd not have to speak out my opinion. And after my last year at school, came to an end, I realized what a big mistake I made in my life. Just by thinking, oh, what are the other batchmates going to think about me? Or maybe there was peer pressure. I was in DPS. I was in one of the most, let's say, reputed schools for peer pressure, and I clearly could not handle it. But yes, I chose to not speak up. I wrote my name for debates participation, but I didn't go for debates. And later I realized, oh my god, had I been in that MUN conference,
Yeah.
sitting chair of any country, I would have had so much confidence. So till now, maybe if my school batchmates will see this
Yeah,
podcast,
they will.
half of them don't know that today if someone asks me, do are you anxious or are you nervous,
Yeah.
I am not, because I realize what loss, how much I lost in that school year.
And was it only because of fear of judgment, or was there something else also?
I think there was this sense of personality which I had about me, that I am not as confident as my peers. I was not one of those girls who's, I don't know,
So maybe
my
now you
eyebrows were
think
not done.
you were being more self-critical about yourself than others judging you. It was all in your
Yes,
head, you feel,
exactly.
and that is what you regret now. That you
Exactly.
wish that had it not been the case, school life would have been different.
Absolutely. And I regretted it until I entered my college in Delhi
Yeah.
University. And when I touched base with a few people on the first day in orientation, I told myself that I'm going to reverse this. And then my college students, or let's say later on, my junior seniors, knew me as somebody, oh, she knows everyone. She can speak anywhere. She's confident. But they knew nothing about my 12 years personality of school. And my school friends still don't know like what happened.
Yeah, I think that's a great change and people can learn from it. But by the way, audience, if you don't know, so she was not only working there and she was not only struggling to keep pace with everything and making a living out of it, but she was also in a long distance relationship. So I would want her to speak up about that because in our generation, I feel people tend to discourage relationships when it comes about long distance because half of them feel, oh, it is not going to work. So before even entering, they say, okay, bye. So,
Hmm.
what was in your head, and how did you manage it? And what was I'm sure she must have faced a lot of struggles. So, what struggles comes in to play when you're in a long distance relationship, and how do you still keep it going?
Very interesting question. I had been in a relationship for quite long, which was not a long distance relationship, almost 5 years. And after a few changes in life, and life moves on. After a breakup, to be precise, I actually started a relationship which was the opposite of 9 to 5,
Okay,
which was a long distance relationship.
definitely.
And I think the biggest thing is to be self aware. So I came across a lot of people who said we are self aware that we cannot handle a long distance relationship. I
Okay.
was self aware that I'm a very loyal person, and that's what I think counts for me in a long distance relationship. So in a way, my personality and my inner values kind of fit to this model. Um, Having said that, I have had times when I would think also about, hey, let me do Tinder or something, when back in the days. But when I had this committed relationship, and that's what I do with my personal and professional relationships, I give my 100%. And yeah, I think the biggest challenge is for you to be disciplined
Hmm.
on your beliefs. And I also believe that in a long distance relationship, one of the biggest learnings for me was how valuable it is to also spend time on or with oneself. It doesn't
Hmm.
mean that I speak to myself in an empty apartment, but also following, pursuing my hobbies, and also having that healthy space with my partner was really influential in
But I
keeping it
feel,
long.
is it only discipline about keeping pace with yourself, or it's also discipline in trusting the other person? Because
Hmm.
relationship is always a two-way hard
Absolutely.
work. So even if you're putting in your effort completely, 100% being loyal, so it takes a lot to trust the other person that if you can trust them with they are being loyal. So how did
Yeah.
it go for you? Because I'm sure there must have been days, I mean, not questioning somebody's loyalty, but it happens when you're lonely. There are days when hormones hit hard to
Oh
everybody, so
yeah.
and especially for girls. So there are days in a month when you tend to feel low and when you tend to doubt
Yes.
everything. So
Hmm.
how did you deal with that situation?
To be honest, it was not easy dealing with situations where my partner was out of network areas. Sometimes he's in, military, maybe in Ladakh, and there was no way I could talk to him for 8 or 9 months. There were also occasions we missed of both of each other, like me graduating, he couldn't fly in, or
Yeah.
he getting some, accolade, and I could not be there for him. Mm, Besides the trust, so the trust actually built up for me the very first day I heard from my partner that let's not give this a name, this relationship a name,
Okay.
or let's not try to think in the terms of, this is when we were just starting to date, and we
All
were
right.
already always in a long distance. We
Okay.
never had non long distant dating or courtship, whatever you want to call. And he just, simply said it. How simple can one frame it? Let's not give this a name. Let's not just tag it that, oh, we are in a
Yeah.
relationship, and let's see where it flows. And that is how I knew that, yes, okay, if he can give his commitment to this, I can also commit. And with God's grace, it worked perfectly well. But in reality, there have been days where I would be insecure.
Hmm.
He would be
I'm
too.
sure. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly, but uh, it's all about being very transparent with your partner. I think
That's
the
the
day
most
I
important
got
thing.
selected for my MBA, I had just dated him for what, 3 months.
Oh.
And I asked him, I said, I'm going abroad.
Hmm.
I will not be in the same physical space as you are, and the same for him.
Hmm.
So, do you think you can manage expectations here? Or do you think it's too risky to make this
Yeah.
serious? And that's the answer which I got. Let's just go with the flow.
Yeah, but that's so sweet also in a way. But by
Yeah.
God's grace, they are now married. And yeah, so which brings me to my next question actually, that now being married, is it different? Has something changed? Because as she pointed out, she's always been in long distance with him. And even now, she's working in Germany and they are still in long distance even though they are married. So has something changed post marriage, and how is it like
Mm-hmm.
after marriage? How are you managing things? Because on the surface of it, many people who don't know, they would feel, oh, it's so good that you spend happy moments and then you are both two different people, you don't have to live with each other during difficult days. So how is it like? So
Mm-hmm.
what exactly it takes and how is it for you now?
Well, we could speak a lot of hours on this topic, but for the benefit of our listeners, I think two things which I would like to highlight. After marriage, the only thing which changes is our mind. It's actually everything is same. It's just our mind which is distracted, which is overwhelmed, which is uh, overthinking, or over romanticizing sometimes,
Hmm.
or under romanticizing sometimes as well.
Hmm.
My thing learning from all of this is everything is same as it was before.
Hmm.
So I refrain even now from thinking in the terms of, okay, I am now married. There are societal festivities,
Definitely.
pressures, but also situations where you think, oh, now that I'm married, I have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
So that's not true. But yes, there are some things which you have to mutually come to an agreement with, and it doesn't come in a day. For example, if I am in a marriage now, I think I pay more attention to the health issues of my partner
Yeah.
than before, more
Yeah.
in detail.
Definitely.
Or for example, if I have a priority of a career fair, or I don't know, a career event, or if a particular event is important to me, I ensure that my partner is aware of it way in advance, because now I am married. Like earlier it would be a bit casual, but
Yeah.
now it is a bit more responsible. So yes,
I
that
think there
definitely
comes the role of
changes.
you being vocal and also the other person and also the
Yes.
transparency. So, as you
Yes.
pointed out, some core values, they are playing a major role, I feel, now
Yeah.
after marriage as well. And I think it is important for two partners to be understanding, then everything flows. So,
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't flow. Sometimes
okay.
you also like smash. No, I'm just
That
kidding.
is very normal. I feel people should normalize these things because
Yes.
everything cannot be, so rosy and lovey dovey every
No.
time, that just because you're married, everything would flow and, you will be that idealistic couple who don't fight and everything. Times are there when you don't,
Yeah.
you may agree to disagree even at times. And
Yes,
there
and
are every,
interestingly, sorry to interrupt. In
yeah, yeah.
German, there's a term called the Rosa Rote Brille, which is like the pink red glasses.
Okay.
So when you would fallen in love, in the first period of that phase is like you're wearing the red glasses. Everything around you is
Okay.
rosy. Every feeling is romantic and all of that.
Yeah.
But then you realize, oh, finally the glasses are, slowly you take them off, or you don't need them anymore, or you just put them a bit below and you say, oh, now I see things differently. So the perspectives changes after those rush of Rosa Rote
Yeah.
Brille moments. But yeah.
But I feel that is very interesting for our viewers. And with that, I would want to add one thing that, Akriti is a very strong woman and she is very independent. So I would want the viewers to know that how do you manage to keep doing everything the way you do? And, because I would want people to take inspiration from you that how to be a strong and an independent woman. So
Hmm.
what would be your message from your personal journey?
Hmm. My only message is that I never became independent by myself. I became independent when I saw that my help and support to other people, other women, family members was received well and was of use to
Hmm.
my friend circle, to my network. And
Absolutely.
that's where I realized that if I can support someone else, if I can make things happen for someone else, then I can definitely make it happen for myself as well. Right.
Yeah.
So that's why, you talked about the care. I think caring about others' opinions, not, but caring for people in need, caring and going the extra mile for somebody who would never expect you to go the extra mile made me realize in the years to by that I can be the same independent person who I want the other person to be. So
Yeah.
empathy for others was maybe one of the things which
इसको
helped
we
me.
say in हिंदी सबका अच्छा करने जाते हैं तो अपना अच्छा अपने आप हो जाता है.
Yes,
And
that's true. Yes,
yeah,
that's
so
true.
I feel, yeah, and even if she's saying that, not caring about other people's opinion, she does, and she values them. So it's
Yes.
basically like for us, suno sabki karo apni.
Yes.
And with that, I've picked up my phone because now it's a fun round, and we are going to play a rapid fire round with Akriti, and she will have to answer the questions very quickly. So, okay, Akriti, your first question is, what's the funniest German word or phrase you've learned?
The
And you have to
f-
explain it to the viewers and me because I don't know.
right. So one of the words which was very funny for me is saying how to say bye in slang or everyday conversation, and it is called choose.
Oh.
And I'm sure all the Hindi viewers know what
Yeah,
it
okay.
means.
Oh, I think I'm laughing. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And I couldn't say choose with a lot of ease. So, yes, that's the funniest word.
That is actually funny for our viewers as well. Okay, next question. So, if you had to describe Germany in three words, what would they be? Three
Old
words in
school.
English or Hindi, not in German. Yeah.
Okay, so Germany in three words for me is punctual,
Okay.
hardworking, and green. It is just full
Green.
of greenery
So sweet.
everywhere I
And
go.
she's also working in sustainability firm, so she will
Excuse me.
have to mention green anyhow.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Keeping it that
That's
way.
my cousin talking.
Okay. Next question. What's your favorite comfort food to eat when you're missing home?
So when I am missing home, and that's quite a lot. No, but
Yeah, why am I restricting it to one? But okay, let's restrict to one.
that's true. So my comfort food is, if I may twist the question, is
Okay.
chai,
Chai.
right? So I like chai, the Indian tea. Chai, masala chai is my comfort drink, and
Yeah.
my comfort food would be like aloo chaat with curd. I think that's what
Tikhi?
I like. Yes, very spicy aloo chaat.
Very spicy aloo
Yeah.
chaat. Okay. So if anybody likes this podcast and you want to talk to Akriti, you will have to come up with very spicy aloo chaat.
And
Okay.
I also know where you find the best one in Delhi.
She'll let you know. Or we'll tag the place in the description so that you come with a good thing so that she's impressed.
Yes.
Okay, next question. What's the German tradition or festival you've come to love now?
Oh, I love Christmas. I know it's a bit, yeah, all over the world, especially in the West countries, and now people celebrate that here in
Yeah.
India as well. But I initially thought that people are not as family oriented in Germany.
Okay.
But around that time is when I realized for the first time that it's just like Diwali time. People
Oh,
come
so
together, people
interesting.
make time for each
Yeah.
other, they cook together, they sit together, they play games, they're talking about the same old stories for years, which they have been enjoying. So yeah, I think Christmas is my favorite.
That is so
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Okay, next question. Describe a moment where something was totally lost in translation, like a funny or awkward language moment.
yeah. So it was actually in German. And I was actually asking one of my neighbors in Mainz. This is a small city. Yeah, very initially, my first month there. And I asked one of my neighbors to help me clean the room.
Okay.
And I said, "Can you help me aufräumen?" Ausräumen. And he didn't understand it actually, because I used the wrong prefix of the verb. So aufräumen means to clean up,
Okay.
and ausräumen means to like empty the space, like to
Oh.
like completely, like when a shop is closing
Yeah, yeah,
down,
yeah.
so
So
you have to take everything you
yeah.
have to. And then
Okay.
he asked me 2 3 times, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Said, "Yes, I'm sure." And the most common thing which happens, like, and sare viewers ko pata hai, in India you're always like saying yes, like this.
Yeah.
So initially, when I went out for a couple of, let's say, beers or any like small festival together, and they were to ask me, "Do you like the food, or would you like to have a bite?" And I'm like, or I didn't nod like the yes nod, but I'm like somewhere
Yeah,
in
because when
between.
Indians are enjoying, so see, when you're there are stages. So when you start, you're awkward, you say yes. But when you're enjoying, you're happy, and you're in the flow, you said okay, yes. So
Yeah,
that is taken as a yes.
yeah,
You were enjoying really
yeah.
well, but
Actually,
they did not perceive it like that.
no, they asked me again,
Oh,
"Do you like
for
it
them,
or do you not
it's
like it?"
no.
For them, it's like confusion, and that's the
Okay.
last thing you can do to any German. They're so
Oh,
clear in their life that they want either yes or no, or
oh,
maybe.
okay.
But I was
No
like,
confusion.
no confusion, very clear.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so with that, we are done with this round. But finally, coming towards an end, I would want her to reflect on her journey of growth and success overall,
Mm.
and send a message to you all about whatever she feels and however she wants. Anybody of you who's watching, even a single person, if any one of you gets inspired, I feel that would be a great thing on our part, and I feel both of us would be very happy that that you anybody gets the benefit. So
Mm.
Akriti, on to you.
So, if I were to reflect on my journey from the beginning, from the school till where I am now, I think the only gratitude I have for God and also for my parents and all the situations I faced, that it has been a curve. So
Okay.
I am thankful that
Oh,
I was never perfect. I had no confidence. And from there on, the journey started off moving towards being confident, taking challenges on in my life, and still like trying to cope up with long distance or with studies abroad or with homesickness. So I am grateful when I do my reflection that I had a curve. So I'm growing as a person. I am accepting challenges. I'm making mistakes. That's a part of it. And it is not just about making mistakes in professional, but also in
yeah,
personal life.
we all
Sometimes
does.
you have to learn.
Hmm.
And that's about my reflection. And just one message I have for every viewer here listening to us today, and that is, always believe in your dreams, because that little
Definitely.
tiny girl, shy out of speaking, never thought would have thought actually, "Oh, I will have a dream of working abroad in Germany, and
Yeah,
I will live it."
yeah, that is the most important thing.
So
Living that dream.
believing in your dreams and dreaming is the only message I would like to share.
I'm also taking that message because I
Yes.
think through these episodes, I'm also learning, and I'm also believing in my dream that one day I'll be putting across a great message to all of you, and probably I'll bring up good stories to each one of you so that anybody of you gets inspired and does something well. I would be most proud person, and we would be very happy. And yeah, with that, I would want to wrap up this particular session. But she's amazing, as I said, so I would love her back on some girly talks, and when girls talk in those private talks, and the fun parts, the emotional aspects, because she's amazing at all of these, and at times she even takes care of my emotional questions. So yeah, she's amazing in that, and I would really want to thank you, Akriti, for taking out time, because she's come back for a few days from Germany, and she's taking her precious time out even on the day when we have an occasion and we are here to celebrate. She's managing to take out time for me, so, and for all of us. podcast. So
Yes.
I think I'm truly grateful to you for your presence.
So
And yeah.
thank you so much, Surbi. I think you're already inspiring us. And I'm looking forward to our next fun, exciting podcast sessions, not just with me here,
Definitely.
but also to the next episodes. I'm really looking forward. And I would love for you to do a podcast on some like international students and travelers. I'm so curious to learn about them.
I have one guest, one potential foreign guest in front of me right now. So I'm definitely considering it. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, listeners, for taking out your precious time. And with that, that's the end. And thank you.